got to be a better way. There's got to be a better way. That is what Nip Hussle, the late great Nip Hussle, said to his older brother, Black Sam, as told by Black Sam in a recent Big Boy interview that he did. Y'all can check out the interview on this YouTube. Just type in Black Sam and Big Boy. It's the latest one. But what Black Sam was saying, and then what ultimately did happen before Nipsey's life was tragically taken, was he was talking about how they were working, I think, at a restaurant and doing like, I think he said like 15-hour shifts. And Nip turned to his older brother and said, man, there's got to be a better way. And Nip went off and found that better way. And then Sam as well, eventually, later on. But yeah, it's got to be a better way than this, man. And I know I can't complain. I guess that's what you could say. I can't complain because things can always be worser. But things can also be better. It is a better way. It should be a better way than to have to be stuck doing something you don't really love doing. You know, more than 12 hours a day that I have to do this. And for pennies. At the end of the day, I'm still one paycheck away, one emergency away from homelessness, from real bad problems. But I know it's got to be a better way. I know it's got to be a better way because I'm tired of this 9-to-5 rat race shit. And for a period of my life, about 6 to 7 years, I did experience a better way of existing. The manager, they call him the driver manager. He's been calling me in the office for these meetings to talk about my performance and, you know, being tardy on time or being tardy for a few minutes. My tardiness comes from me trying to fit everything in to this tight ass schedule. You know, instead of fitting my job around my life, I'm fitting my life around my job, which is the way it shouldn't be. Because there are people that are, a lot of people making decent income that are fitting their life around their job. No, fitting their job around their life. There's a lot of people, not just myself, who are fitting their life around their job. But there's also a lot of people that are fitting their job around their life, which means that your job, what you presently do, should not hinder your life, what you're currently doing, whatever those hobbies that you have, whatever those hobbies that you like to do, whether it's hiking, whether it's bike riding, whether it's fishing, or join a bowling team, or even traveling. Your job should fit around that. not the opposite way that a majority of us are currently living. But getting back to these meetings I've been having with this manager, which revolves around me trying to basically switch up my schedule. Basically, like, I like to go to the gym 4-5 times a week. This is something I've been doing for a while. And oftentimes, my workouts can take more than an hour. I try to not waste time. I don't waste time. I'm not just sitting in there on my, a lot of people are on their phone and they're in between workouts. Like, I have a workout program that takes more than an hour and a half, sometimes 2, because I'm doing strength and I'm doing cardio, and if I'm able, I can do the sauna as well. But what's happening with this new job is that I'm having a rush. I'm having a rush to get these things done. I'm having a rush through my workouts because I only have a limited time in between my work. If I'm working 12-hour shifts, I only have such a limited time to really do anything, because when I get off, I don't just get right off at the 12-hour shift and just drop in bed and just go to sleep immediately. No, I get off. I got to take all the stuff that I bring with me in this truck, put it in my car. Then I got to do the post trip, and I have to do all the stuff, to plug this truck back up. And then after that, I got to drive to the place where I lay my head, decompress, wash off. I usually try not to eat late at night, but by the time it's all said and done, I'm probably 13 hours in, or a little bit more, before I finally are in what they call REM sleep, which is where you get the real sleep that you need to recover. And then I gotta wake up, and since I'm a person I'm an early riser, I rise with the sun. It just naturally happens. Even if I try to sleep longer, my body would naturally wake me up when the sun comes up. And then I have to rush back to work again, but I'm trying to get my work. So long story short, this is what we're talking about in these meetings, but the meetings go to other things. Like, for some reason, our meetings been going to like personal life things, right? And I remember I mentioned to him in another meeting that I'm not like these other drivers. Like, I've done a lot of things that these other drivers haven't done and won't do in their life. And that's not to be cocky, but when he was trying to box me in, because I was asking him, hey, is there any way that I can just do my 10 hours and leave? Because I want to do other things. I want to work on other things. And doing this 12-hour plus shift is making that very hard for me to do those things. And he was like, well, I never had another driver ask me this. I never had another individual ask me this. And he waved around and he talked about all the other the managers in there. He's like, none of them have either. And I didn't say nothing then, but when I went back and I thought about it, then when we had the meeting, I had to tell him, I'm not none of these other drivers. I've traveled 30 plus countries, 6 continents. So you got to understand. And this is what I said to him. And I did that without the military. I didn't go to the military to travel that much, as much as I did. I didn't have some type of job that I traveled as much, that allowed me, or a part of my job was traveling. No, I did this out of my own pockets because it was something that I wanted to do, and I had the freedom and I had the time and the space to do it. And that's the other way I'm talking about. So in our recent meeting yesterday, I guess it set on his mind over the weekend. So when we came back to another meeting, talking about the time I'm coming in, he said, "Hey, you mentioned that you travel over 30 countries, and you said, how was you able to do that? Like, what, you know?" I said, "Well, at the time I had my own business, and during that time I didn't have no responsibilities. I didn't have my only responsibility was myself, to pay my rent, pay my bills, and after that was done, that was it. I didn't have nothing. I didn't have no other mouths to feed or none of that, right? So that gave me the ability to do that which I was doing, which is my hobby. It was my passion, my passion was to travel, and I done a lot of it, and I did it frequently. I didn't need to ask for PTO, you know, to a boss or whatever, or some supervisor or some person over my place of employment to give me the permission to go. I just went, and I went frequently. You know, sometimes I would travel 2 to 3, 4 times back to back. I remember it was a guy that I used to, you know, we used to be cool, and he was in Medellin at the time, and he reached out to me, and he said, "Man, I'm in Medellin, you should come." And I was back, you know, I'm in Oakland. I'm like, man, you know what? I should go. And so I looked online, I found a regional price ticket, and within 2 days I was out there. Just like that. Didn't have to ask permission, and I wasn't putting myself in a financial bind. But that's the other way that I'm talking about. That's the other way. The other way is having the ability, having the freedom to do what you want, when you want, and how you want, and however long you want. And not have to worry about not having enough money, not having to worry about, you know, you losing some type of job. That's the other way. And I think that's the other way Nip was talking about to his brother Black Sam. Whatever that other way is. And you may like, I don't know how, but you may like working long ass hours and barely getting by. I don't know why. I don't know why you would like that. It doesn't make any logical sense to me. But for those that don't like doing that, there is another way, because other groups of people are able to live another way with their careers. You know, when you look at the people that work at these tech companies, Google, Facebook, these people can do a lot because they're getting a great salary, but those companies give them the freedom, give their employees the freedom to have a work-life balance, right? Because some of those employees are able to work hybrid, which is working at home sometimes and then working at the office. But it gives them a lot more freedom, a lot more time to do those things that they want to do. But we all still in the rat race, but it's the degree in which you are in that rat race. So with that being said, y'all, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. This is your brother Jay International, tapping back in once again. I will holler at y'all later. Peace.